So, for this week, once again, luck by has it, one of the general topics that I want to discuss, just to sort of break things in for my opening set of a few videos or whatever. A new story has come to my assistance, so we'll get into that first. So earlier this week, basically Reddit went abuzz for a little bit, because at the minute qualifiers are taking place worldwide for the International eSports Federation World Championships, the IeSF, if you want to acronymize it, if that's even a word. Taking place this year in Baku in Azerbaijan. And the finish leg is coming up in a few weeks. And a Reddit poster on the Hearthstone, in the Hearthstone Reddit community, noticed in the small print for the applications for the Hearthstone tournament that all players must be male only, which is surprising because there is quite a large amount of players of Hearthstone that are women. And the interesting thing is, basically, the Finnish branch of the eSports Federation couldn't do anything about it. Because PC Gamer got in touch with the admins for certainly the Finnish leg of the tournament, which was being run at the Assembly Summer 2014 event, along with other games. But with regards to Hearthstone, the quote from Marcus Koskevita, who's head admin, said, "This is all in accordance with the IeSF's tournament regulations, since the main tournament is open to male players only. This is apparently to avoid possible conflicts, such as a female player eliminating a male player during a round of 8, among other things." At least I think RO8 is round of 8. I'm not sure, but they pretty much specified this Finnish Esports Federation that all our other games, which are not IeSF registered, are open to everyone. It's just Hearthstone wasn't. And basically the main tournament taking place in Baku towards the later part of the year will be having, or was having anyway, males playing only, males have been able to take part in Ultra Street Fighter 4, StarCraft 2, Dota 2, and Hearthstone. For women, they will be able to play StarCraft 2, but then the other one was Tekken Tag Tournament 2, which I find a bit odd because the fact that Ultra Street Fighter 4 is arguably newer than Tekken Tag 2, and the fact that they're separate tournaments, I'm still a little bit confused, because if there is a Tekken Tag Tournament 2 thing for the women, why isn't there one for the men there as well? What's that to do with? And basically, the IeSF gave on its Facebook page the reasoning to all this stuff, and the quote was this from the IeSF. The decision to divide male and female competitors was made in accordance with international sport authorities as part of our effort to promote eSports as a legitimate sport. eSports as a legitimate sport. The problem is, this sort of thing makes eSports look bad. Because, let's be honest, I wasn't expecting this to go into an eSports discussion, because that's not what it's about. But, look at some... Okay, most major sports have male and female competitions only. But look at some of the race car driving stuff. Okay, you haven't got women actively like in NASCAR or something like that, but certainly there's been women involved in Formula 1, there's been women involved in Indy cars, there's been women involved in quite a lot of sports, which are legitimate sports. So, what's the idea? You shouldn't really have to discriminate. Thankfully, due to the fact that this basically blew up the internet earlier this week, IeSF have decided to reverse their decision and allow women to be in the tournament, as well for there being a women-only tournament for those that don't feel that they can go toe-to-toe with some of the best players, because it's widely believed, because I've had to do some research on it, that most of the real good expert StarCraft 2 players, at least in the StarCraft 2 verse, are males. Most notably from Korea, because they pretty much play every day, sort of training themselves. Because they keep going into tournaments and basically making money off it. But, I'm not sure of her name, but most community people in StarCraft, apparently there is one female that really, if she entered the women's only tournaments every year for StarCraft, she'd win it way too easily. So in essence, she should be competing with the men, because otherwise it'd be unfair. I get the reason why they did it, or wanted to do it, because they're trying to give women an equal platform, but just the fact that you're holding them back from being in the main tournament, I think is a little bit unfair. And this is the wider issue that I want to talk about. And that is still, surprisingly to this day, attitudes towards women in gaming. Now, the fact that might trouble some of you, but probably not all of you, just a very few, is that basically close to, I think it's the actual stat is 49%, but yeah, give or take a percent. Half of the world's gamers are women. You see plenty of them on Twitch, obviously. Hell, that story that came out a few weeks back about the two women being held at gunpoint while being streamed on Twitch. They were Dota 2 players and gained a notoriety for being good Dota 2 players. So the issue is that, well, I hate to bring in Call of Duty, but let's. So, Call of Duty never had the opportunity for you to play as a female until last year's Ghosts, and everyone went, this is a good thing. So, it comes in, and some of the females decide to go with female players, but interestingly as well, some of the men that just want to be different play as female players as well. And they go into multiplayer games, and the majority of the time, until it's sort of been cracked down, but it's still present. It's still present in quite a lot of games. Perhaps not Ghost, because I haven't been playing it. Because I sort of didn't, as I spoke last week about Call of Duty, I really wasn't that interested in it. The issue was when women were getting killed, when you could hear the people on the TeamSpeak headset stuff, they were basically being very derogatory towards the fact that they killed a woman on the battlefield. I don't know whether that's telling of... It's probably more a telling of family backgrounds of people. I don't know. But yeah, that's a rather telling area, I think. Another one actually relates to sexism about sexism, which, okay, that might be getting a little Inception-esque, but bear with me. I believe her name was Anita Sarkeesian, I think it is. She did a short project, I believe, at a college or a university, something like that, regarding female tropes in video games. So you've got, sex like in GTA, or nudity and stuff like, I don't know, Beyond Two Souls or Fahrenheit, things like that. And then, like, female protagonists, such as, Princess Peach, Princess Zelda, Lara Croft, you name it, she was pretty much going to cover it. And she wanted to do a Kickstarter to make this project into sort of a big YouTube/whatever project. And it did big. She did really well. She got easily surpassed her funding goal. But after about 6 or 7 months, which was like by the time that she said the project would be finished, only 1 episode of the thing had come out, and I believe it was supposed to have been at least 6. And she basically specified it's because with the extra money, we want to give you better content. And the internet sort of was in an uproar about it, which I kind of get, because in terms of Kickstarter stuff, I understand, because obviously people are funding it themselves. People feel that they have a commitment to it and want to vent their opinions. But the problem is, quite a lot of them were basically using her sex as a get-out. I don't want to even say some of the comments, but they really were rather derogatory towards her. And towards the female attitude, which is ironic, because that's what she was actually discussing about. Or wanted to discuss about, anyway. And the thing is, it's just, why are some people so against this? Because I think there are certainly plenty of women out there that are going to be experts at games. I mean, it's not just it's not just really it's not just guys that should have the access rights to everything. Quite a few players out there are pretty good, but sort of as long as you don't hear them, you wouldn't know. I'd love it for there to be, like a team of, let's say it's an 8x8 game of Call of Duty or something like that, and 8 of them are women and 8 of them are men, but we don't tell them which is which. They'll have unique characters and everything, but they'll all be playing as women, but none of the others will know that. So what I'd be interested in is to see whether the males would react. And don't worry, I'm not going to do this as a sort of experiment, because I'm not, well, I don't have a dime, I don't have the capability, but it's just, I don't know. You look at, I can't really think up of great examples off the top of my head, but it should be the right for anybody to play the games and not really get picked on or discriminated against or anything, whether it be gender, sexual orientation, whatever, race, just a whole load of stuff. And just, I don't know, this move sort of really did highlight that until, as I say, thankfully they reversed it. And this actually sort of goes the other way too, because you see quite a lot of people, well, let's say there are certain elements of the game market which seem to supposedly cater to the female audience. Sims is probably a good example. Just Dance would be another. And I guess I don't want to go down the road of like Barbie games, because that's really just for little girls. But certainly games on the more casual end, like Wii Fit and things like that, people are going to be sort of being a bit stupid about. But don't get me wrong, there are some very good gamers in the great games. Case in point, Peekaboo Bang and quite a few other girls that I've seen streaming Battlefield related stuff. And also, one video that sort of went viral over the last few weeks is a British grandmother that seems to be, I don't know whether she is playing or not, but I'm not entirely sure. But it's this British grandmother playing GTA 5 and really seemingly getting a kick out of it. Now the thing is, when it's somebody of old age and it's female, everyone's like, this is awesome. If she was like in her 20s or whatever, some of the people would be just hurling sexual abuse in the comments. But most of the people are like, either fake, which, I can't verify it officially. I'd have to see her do it in person, but most of the comments are like, I want this granny to be my granny, because she's perfect. So I just think that hopefully we won't get any other issues like this. No tournaments will be male or female only, as much as that. Well, certainly there shouldn't be any male only ones. If women feel that they are up to competing with the men, let them. That doesn't seem to be an issue. As I say, the International eSports Federation sort of says that, because we want to be a real sport, it's the issue. That ain't the point. Do you want to have the best people competing in your main tournament, whether they're male or female, or do you want to skew it to basically, because, perhaps, let's say, the place of a very good female Hearthstone player would have been taken by a less than average player that's male. So if one of the top players faces the less than average player, it's not going to be it's going to be an easier ride for that player than going against the more experienced and bigger threat of the good female player. So, and thankfully, in most games, Call of Duty seems to be the exception, because I guess it's getting that demographic of the right audience, which is basically underage. But I'm going to touch on that on a future video, because that is probably one of my biggest irks in gaming. But certainly, if you look at most of it, there is respect done to everyone. It's just that little bit that I guess it's the vocal minority. And I guess I'm trying to be sort of the vocal minority on YouTube, of sorts. I want to get this message out to the vocal minority about sexism, about, women shouldn't be playing games. Sort of get with the times. I know about freedom of speech, but surely women have the rights to freedom of speech as well. Don't discriminate, because don't make us go back to the days of back like when that old line, women should be seen and not heard. We don't want to go back to that. We're equal opportunities, aren't we? I'd have thought. I don't know. Just keep in mind, if there's a female avatar character that you're playing with, whether it be a Call of Duty thing, or Warcraft, or anything, just think about it. That person may be a woman, but it may not. If you hurl abuse at them, then you're sort of the problem with the gaming community. It's one of the last few things that once we've cracked through that, perhaps the media won't look so harshly on video gaming. Except for all the violence and the sex and the stuff that the American mainstream media is scared about, because they can't understand it. Again, that's another topic, but yeah. I think next up on the list of things that irk me, I now hope that something crops up in the next 7 days that comes into that, is the old, I guess, thing. I'm leaving this as a tease for next week. Let's talk about parenting. Let's talk about kids. Let's talk about, I don't know. Let's go somewhere where, again, the internet does go, but I don't think it gets enough attention. Let's just talk about 12-year-olds being idiots on Call of Duty.